Dan J, Heather Lynn, everybody.
And let's hear it for our band. That's great. I want a photo with you. Oops, there you are. Yes.
When you have time.
Oh, you would like to do what? You'd like to buy one. Oh, I don't know if we have them for sale. No, you can't.
Scary. Like General Mills.
Oh, how are you? Good to see you again. Hello. Hi, I haven't seen you.
How are you?
So you need brand new investors all the time.
That's right. We're the ones who are invested because we're providing the labor, we're providing our taxes, we're providing the way to keep these companies going. I mean, when people, subsidies, and when people don't vote, they are voting because they're basically saying, here, take my rights, take my rights, and whatever you decide is just fine by me. And that's what allows, as Elizabeth says, bad governments to get elected because too many people are doing it.
I thought I'd invite you out to come in on one of our morning rounds. You're so busy.
No, I know, but after the election? Could I do that?
Yes.
Right now, it's a new tsunami. It's a new tsunami of information that, thanks to technology, is coming at us not just from the United States, but from all corners of the globe. But what we don't know is because this has no borders, we don't know who the corporate masters are of any of that information. But you should take your role as a shareholder in the CBC seriously, because you are shareholders. Every Canadian is a shareholder in the CBC.
Yes. Yes.
And you can stand back and watch this hostile international takeover go ahead, or you can go to the ballot box and vote to keep the CBC in Canada. It's that simple. We're very pleased that the Green Party has the strongest financial support for the CBC, but we will join the Liberals and the New Democrats in making sure this cultural institution is funded, rebuilt, and restored for a new generation. We certainly hope that you will join us, and just like they say, we vote CBC. And in Victoria, we vote CBC more than anywhere else in the country.
Yeah.
I'm really honored to turn the podium to Francis Litt from Green Canada in this Guatemala Saturday.
We are so fortunate that every day musicians, dancers, artists, and actors of every description contribute daily to not only our economy, but our cultural fabric. The Green Party has a clear plan to support the arts in Canada by bringing tax incentives forward and relief for Canadian artists to ensure that we all have the opportunity to enjoy the arts in all their many shapes and forms. We'll also work with the CRTC to ensure that every Canadian is exposed to the wealth of art that is a part of our heritage. I know as an artist myself, I've earned my living my entire career from my creativity. And I know I've certainly paid my fair share of taxes and contributed to our economy. I'm happy to hear that we have the best plan you can imagine. You can see it at greenpartyca.ca. For a Canada that works together. Vote Green. Thank you.
If this is okay?
This is great.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're just wondering, Elizabeth, your position on small business first and how that's going to work for Canadians.
Yeah, I'm very proud of the fact that the Green Party has put forward so many policies and tax measures in the interest of small and medium-sized enterprises across Canada. We're hoping that the people will begin to realize that we're the small business party. We really do support small business in terms of reducing the tax rate from its current 11% to 9%. And I did put forward a bill in Parliament called the Think Small First Act. The goal of my legislation, which died on the order paper when Stephen Harper called the election, but I will be reintroducing it, and of course I think we'll have a better chance of passing it once the Conservatives are gone. The goal is to have the Minister of Industry have an obligation to ensure that legislation, regulation changes, fiscal changes that affect small business, that in order to find out what the impact is, that these legislative changes will be evaluated ahead of time to see what the impact is on small business. The same way we do environmental assessment in advance to find out the impact on the environment, we should ensure that government policies are analyzed to find out how they're going to affect small business, and then we can get ahead of time to reducing those impacts and saying, wait a minute, there's no point in making a small business person fill out a zillion forms that they've already filled out for somebody else. So the Think Small First Act is modeled on something in the European Union that I heard about from friends of mine in the Green Party in Europe, and I'm really excited about making sure that we act proactively to reduce the regulatory burden, unnecessary costs on small business. We also want to make it more possible for small business to access capital, so we have additional $1 billion a year in venture capital, particularly around clean and green technology. But we've got companies right here in Victoria installing solar roofs, working on improving energy efficiency, and out at Vancouver Island Tech Centre, goodness knows we have a lot of really amazing research happening now into tidal power and geothermal. We need to create more venture capital for those new startups that are part of the new economy.
Well, that sounds great. I mean, some of the criticisms that I've had to answer regarding the green policy, and I'm not that familiar, but some of the criticisms are that the platform sounds somewhat like libertarianism.
Oh, that's based on someone who's not read the platform.
Right.
Our platform's really very progressive. It's the most progressive. We're the most progressive party in Canada right now. We're the only party that's recognizing that, look, job creation has a lot to do with government policy. We need to create the right incentives, and unfortunately under Stephen Harper, there have been no incentives for job creation. Even though he talks about jobs, the reality is his focus has been on large corporations and large corporate profit and large corporate governance. Those are that's the opposite direction that Greens want. We want to ensure that we have a vibrant economy that is sustained and grows through activity of our entrepreneurs here within Canada. So we want more value chains, more value added, less rip and strip raw resource export. We're a very progressive party with smart business ideas.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation here today. And
thank you. I'm glad you raised the question. Thank you. And if people are interested, they can find our full platform and the budget at greenparty.ca on our national website.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
My name is Adam Olson. I'm the interim leader of the BC Green Party, and I am very honored to be here with you today. What an amazing feeling here on Vancouver Island for the Green Party of Canada.
I'd like to say hello to everyone and say thank you to Telesphore to welcome him to your traditional territories of the Coast Salish people. It's nice to be able to do the work that we are doing here today. And I'm proud to present to you in honor of the First Nations people and the Green Party that this year I'll be voting for the Green Party.
Nuguan Zanau, Gashlan Lakawina Gwisik Quagyo Luiguskimo, Olakan Ekan Nala. I want to let you know my name is Fran Hunt Janucci. My Indian name is Zanau. That's how I'm known by my elders. I want to start by saying that this is not my territory. I take honor and privilege to be standing here on Lekwungen and Esquimalt territory today. And I want to also thank our leader, Elizabeth May, for knowing that it's only right that before we start in celebration, we recognize what today means for First Nations, Métis, Inuit people across this country. And today is a day that we stand and we honor the murdered and missing Aboriginal women from across this country, and girls. This is a national tragedy that cuts through all of our hearts. We call for a national inquiry, but we also call for safe spaces to be able to discuss society's systemic violence against women, and in particular Aboriginal women. We need to create those safe spaces. In my community, May 2010, our young Angeline Pete left our community heading towards Vancouver. She has never come home. Just a couple of months ago, the Penelakut tribe, the Penelakut Nation, lost young Dee Dee. And we don't know how she lost her life. So there are families and there are communities that are grieving across this land. And I think of Eileen, the elder in our community who raised her granddaughter. And I don't want her to go to her life's end and not know what happened to Angeline. And Angeline is one of 1,200 that we know. And so I just want to acknowledge every women's association, every person that just will open their hearts and have some empathy and to put yourselves in the shoes of our people. We just want to know. We want government and leadership that will take a stand and do what's right. We need leadership in this country.
It is my pleasure. It took us about 2 seconds to start talking about our Nordic country heritage. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Valdi.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you to the First Nations. Thank you to all of you folks for coming out here and helping make a change. It's an important thing. We are going to save the world this way. And that's the chorus of this song. We are going to save the world. Do it while there's something worth saving. Before I get going, please remember that bad governments are elected by good people who don't vote. So make sure you get all of your friends and neighbors to get out there and vote. We are going to save the world. Do it while there's something worth saving. Save us from acid rain, from disease and pain, from the drug cartels or poison water wells. Help and keep us clear from the shadow of fear. We are going to save the world. Do it while there's something worth saving. For the birds and bees, for the forests and trees, for the air that we breathe, or the trail that we leave, for the clouds on high, or any passers-by. We are going to save the world. Do it while there's something worth saving. We're gaining confidence. We'll be making sense. We'll get out on the ice, not just sit on the bench. We know knowledge is power. We're going to let it flower. We are going to save the world. Do it while there's something worth saving.
Thank you. Okay. Moving along. Do you guys know? Do you know who Elizabeth May is? Well, she's here, which might be surprising to you because when leaders of other parties show up at events, everybody gets frisked and make sure that you leave everything at the... That didn't happen because we're a big inviting group of loving people here. Elizabeth May is going to speak, but not yet. No, I haven't introduced you yet.
We always have trouble proving to the media how big our rallies are, so I think if we start now over here and just go 1, 2, everyone's like 1, 2, 1, and when we're finished at 1,005, they'll believe us. Okay, bye.
We sit on beers for Valentine, counting all the ways that we live a life of plenty, for from an ancient sea, counting all the footprints leading up to what will be. No time for second guessing. We invent prosperity. Paris takes the stage again. It's not a show, my friends, a pathway or the end. It's not a show, my friends, a pathway or the end.
I still can't believe that we've been in a campaign for 11 weeks with the opportunity to have debates on issues that really matter, to have the discussion we need to have as a country about the challenge to us as a people who are both Indigenous people and as a people who are also the descendants of immigrants. We have an opportunity to have that conversation in an election set up for us perfectly by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report handed down just before the election happened. That was our opportunity as a country to have a discussion with respect about what we need to do to meet the recommendations. And I'm standing here in red because of, as you know earlier, noting that this is the day that Sisters in Spirit call on us to remember and then to take action for missing and murdered Indigenous women. I thought we'd have that discussion in the women's debate, but it got canceled. I was sure we'd have the discussion on the English language CBC CTV global debate, but it got canceled. They cancel the debates when the men decide not to show up. Yep. Well, we thought we'd have a discussion by now about our economy, a real discussion about the economy. How do we transition off fossil fuels and create more jobs at the same time? A real discussion about embracing our resources as a strength, not deciding we can rip and strip and ship out raw logs and raw bitumen and throw the jobs away at the same time. I thought we'd have a discussion. I have a friend down there talking to me earlier about wild salmon and what gets passed off as fish farms. We don't want to call them fish farms in the Green Party anymore. That sounds benign or almost friendly. They're toxic pollution factories producing an unsustainable product that requires stripping the ocean of its protein to feed the fish. It takes food from people to put into toxic impoundments which are open to the sea to allow viruses, diseases, lice. What kind of economy is that? We need to talk about a sustainable economy that creates jobs, healthy food, farmers who can make a living growing food. Crazy ideas, I know. Your day is done. You can shut down and go home, fossil fuel masters of the universe. You know who I'm talking about. I'll name a few of them, the Koch brothers. There's a few of them out there that think they can control politics and politicians, and mostly they can't. Not anymore.
We are unstoppable. Another world is possible. We are unstoppable. Another world is possible. That's right, everybody. This is powerful. This is us. This is the Greens. It's community.